Today, on the 25th anniversary of READ, we meet all of us to celebrate the guiding principles behind the story of Against All Odds. The story of Against All Odds is, in fact, the story of READ. Actually, one could also say that the story of Against All Odds is the story of all of mankind, because our primitive ancestors fought against all odds as we do today. They fought against cold winds and ice, with nothing but bare skin over their bodies, and blunt clubs to fend off raging beasts against hunger, against being devoured. And we could say they set up all the clues for creating our modern contemporary lifestyle, like avoiding fatty meats, and get your daily exercise, eat your veggies, fighting for survival. And of course, they also fought against women's rights. They fought against mighty forces of nature. One of them was this. And when they discovered fire and warmth, they also discovered shelter and intimacy, which offered some respite. But they still fought on against all odds, because now the battle shifted to defending people and things they developed attachments to. So they started with territory, family, king, country, but it went up to race, eventually to beliefs and values. So slowly, with the passing of millions of years, mankind's fight against all odds changed its theme from fighting for survival to striving for success. So today we succeed to survive, and if we manage to survive and succeed, we do that by making good ideas work better than bad ideas. We strive to succeed in order to excel, to raise the level of quality of what we do, of what we are engaged in. So striving for success as compared to fighting for territory or fighting against the great mighty forces of nature moved to defending ideas. And so today is all about giving in to good ideas and making the good ones work better. And that's striving for success. Today we find that each one of us has a hidden passion, a secret potential for something, anything. It could be plumbing or painting, carpentry or music, graphic arts or acting or yawning or whatever. By the way, the world record on yawning goes to a man who yawned 3,466 times in a row after coming out of a movie theater. Did you know that? He kept an entire village yawning for 3 weeks. Just a joke. Just a joke. Don't take that seriously. I just made that up. Anyway, to go back to what I was saying, many of us are willing to fight against all odds to live out our passions. It takes fighters to change the wrongs they see around them. And believers who believe in excellence, in striving for excellence, in striving for the right to displace bad theories and practice with good ones. Today, those who want to succeed in this struggle against all odds strive for excellence more than for survival. They strive to go beyond what you and I may ordinarily do by doing it better than all of us in the family, better than all of us in the community and neighborhood, better than all of us in the city, in the province, in the country, and then the world. They strive, if possible, to be the best in the world. Who are these people who strive to be best in the world at what they do? For one thing, they're not Neanderthals. Neanderthals always have a good reason for behaving like one. but they come often to us from within us as people who strive for justice. And the form they take when they come is that of a child, innocent child, just seeking, dreaming for all the beautiful, happy things that make them happy, things that make us children feel pleasurable, things that feel good, things that feel right. And those are the dreamers among us who become fighters and believers. You couldn't tell them if you saw them or met them. They could be sitting right next to you. In fact, they could well be you. And like you, they don't look dreamy-eyed at all. When at work, they look frantically busy, absent-minded and forgetful, often agitated, pinching others to check if they're dreaming. It takes such dreamers to turn into fighters and believers. For no matter how tough and painful and exhausting the struggle gets, there's something within us all that creates an ideal self, the self that we want to attain. We, you and I, have within us the potential and the desire to actualize our true hidden self. And that desire, if backed by will, turns into an intention. That's when we say, I will do this. I will do it. For in the end, a large part of who and what we want to become as a person rests on what we want to do as a person. So when you create an intention, you switch on the ignition. The engine roars to life. You grab the steering, shift the gear, and the wheels of intention start to turn. And then you embark upon a journey. The first leg of the journey is about finding a plan. For you need a plan to execute that intention. Where will you begin? Who will you need? And what? And why? And how long will it take? You would think that, well, okay, at least I'm finally sitting on the driver's seat and doing my own thing. I can now relax and take it easy and plan my strategies carefully. Now that would be great if you had a road map and a nice uncluttered lane with traffic lights and road signs to guide you and people to help you along the way if your vehicle needed repairs. Instead, you find yourself in the middle of an ocean of people who chose not to dream or never felt the need to. So it's very unlikely you'll get them to help you devise a plan to make your dream come true. In this ocean, you are your own island, your own vehicle and plan. You go looking for resources. You go looking for materials. And there are often surprises lurking at every corner. But you carry on. You carry on your struggle to make your dream come true. You go looking for people who can bring you the knowledge and the expertise needed to turn your abilities into skills, intentions into a plan, your dream into reality. And when you finally have them, you prepare for the next leg of your journey, which is called never quit. Because the next stage may be a long, hard climb, especially if you stand at the bottom of the mountain and look up to what you believe to be good, to be right, and to be true for yourself, and perhaps even for others. So every minute, every hour, day, week, months, and years spent in fighting for the right thing against all odds brings the goal closer. It's like climbing a very high mountain, steep and treacherous. The closer you get to the peak, the more tired you become, and the harder it gets to see the peak. And losing sight of the peak comes at the worst time imaginable. When you've already covered more than 85% of your climb and feel exhausted, utterly spent and weak, not knowing if you can even take the next step. It comes at a time when you feel most vulnerable, weak and unsure, even lost because the peak is no more to be seen. It's almost like losing sight of your goal. That's when the will grows weak. What if you die before you get to the peak? What if there's another snowstorm? Maybe, you think of your corpse, cold and frozen, lying perhaps for months or years in some barren slope 20,000 feet above the ground, and suddenly the image strikes you as a monumental waste of your life, a waste of the time and of a struggle spent on that journey to nowhere. That's when you think of cutting loose and quitting, of giving up a wasted effort. And paradoxically, that is when you should not give up, but carry on. The peak is just an hour's climb right above you. And 4 days of climbing, that's not much. And yet that's the time when most people give up and return. That's when most think of the time spent as time wasted. When it was not. For the 4 days spent climbing helped reduce the time left to get to the peak to a mere 1 hour. So, never believe that you're wasting your time or have wasted your time. There's another psychological element to giving up in our struggle against all odds. These are the barriers we create in our own minds and hearts. When our minds tell us, no, it cannot be done. You will fail. It's no use. Or our hearts warn us, you lack the courage, you don't have the brains, and all the doors are closed. Will you spend your life trying to open doors? Be happy with what you have. Don't be greedy. And each one of those fears falling like balls of steel one by one, all around you, get you all fenced in and trapped. You trap yourself by your own self-fulfilling prophecies. You become the prisoner of your own mind. The struggle against all odds is a struggle not of body and limbs alone, but of the spirit and of the will. It demands tenacity, courage, determination, and most important of all, humility. We feel humbled, truly humbled by forces greater than ourselves, more powerful and universal and cosmic. We feel part of something greater and beyond our individual selves. In other words, we feel inspired. It's those same powers that help us to rise, not above others, but with others and for others. The story of Against All Odds is a harsh one, filled with punishments and pain for those struggling to succeed, for those striving to do their best. For each person who succeeds, there are 2,000 others that fail. How can rational thinking support or even accept such a culture and prescription for success? Where success is reserved for the exceptional among us and failure for the rest? We hope that the day will soon come when the story of Against All Odds will change its trajectory and give way to an alternative mainstream culture. One which offers support, encouragement, love, and motivation, and understanding and rewards for all of us who try our best to do better. Thank you.